Alrighty, PG-13. This is G.I. Joe. Now, you know how I like to talk about repaints and whatnot, and figures I did enjoy. And when I was growing up, I did have 3 Jinxes. That's right, triple jinxed. But Jinx was remade a few times. Now, it surprises others to know that she's been unmasked in the Super 7 line. But you know, that mold is pretty close to the original mold. So it's not too bad. It actually does have a vintage feel. And you know, Hasbro did say they had 90 molds of 3.75 figures, which, you know, they could actually bring out, and it would cost them next to nothing because they already have the molds. Or the sculpt, anyways. Now, 2003, we got another one that looked like 87, and it was Tiger Force. I believe she came in a 6-pack, probably. I don't have all those, I just bought her individually. I did have 2, but another collector wanted one, and well, I sold one to him. Anyways, that's besides the point. Now, we did get, well, Hydra in 2000, I think it was. No, sorry, 1998. I always get confused a little bit, but 1998, and she came with the Stinger, but they called the Stinger oh, confused the fuck out of you. They called the Stinger the Rattler. Cobra Rattler. So if you're looking for a Stinger, that they might sell it a lot more now. But at the time it was probably about 100 Canadian. Now people might sell it for more. But you're better off just to find it, find the figure. But there's also Vipra. Sorry, Jinx was named Vipra, and there's the other Vipra. And there is one more Vipra that I don't have, because she's also in a 6-pack, and I think I bought them individually. And that's this one. You know, I don't have that Vipra. Now, so I do also want to touch upon a few little things that you watch out for. The vintage weapons seem to be better in this case, as later on they were made of some sort of cheap, crappy plastic. I don't know, but the 98 one is still made nice. Just so you're aware, that's right. However, the Super 7 one did not come with a sword. It came with some pom-poms. Oh, a Jinx without a sword. Anyways, kinda sucks. Kinda sucks not having a sword, eh, Jinx? Now, I do love my ninjas, and this is a Pro Ninja channel here. So we're just gonna put some Jinxes down here before we jinx everything. Now, some interesting things I'd like to touch upon is, why didn't we get a repaint of the Air Viper? You know, did they lose the mold for the Air Viper? Like, why did we not get another repaint of this? He would have looked great in, well, black and red. He could have been blue and red. He could have been Python red. I love that, the Python for, was it 2005 or whatever it was? They had a 6-pack. Anyways, the red and black 6-pack ones. If I go to pull one, it's going to knock over everything. So now, Super 7 did Python colors, but I don't like these Python colors as much. I love this part, but I don't like this yellow. They should have went with the red gloves and red boots. That would have made way better. But also, like, Motor Viper. We did get a redo for the Sky Patrol, but we didn't get another Motor Viper in a different color scheme. You know, it can happen. Why not? Well, one other thing I'd love to talk about here is the 1986 B.A.T.S. And like I said before, that definitely needs Hasbro's attention to bring us another 2-pack. You know, I don't care if it comes with a Super 7 B.A.T.S as well. I kind of do like this Super 7 B.A.T.S. It's got a different head sculpt than the first one that Super 7 put out, the blue one over there. So even Black Major Customs does have lots of B.A.T.S, but I love this B.A.T.S here, the 1986 B.A.T.S, and he does have quite the number of attachments that come with him. But again, why didn't we get a repaint of this guy? Black Major Customs, they got the Major Black Customs. Sorry, Major Black Customs. They have eels all in different color schemes. Now, that would surprise you that there's another cutter out there. There is. He's a doll version, and I'm not sure if he's a 2000, I forget, or is he 98. But anyways, I didn't look him up. But there you go. You got one without the Boston on his hat. It's just a plain black hat. And he comes with a little tiny vehicle. So yeah, I think it is. But anyways, like repaints like that. And yes, we got repaints and redos of this figure, but we never got him in Tiger Force. Steel Brigade, but they can call him the Brigade Trooper if Hasbro lost the rights to Valivers. You know? Come on, Hasbro, step it up. Some of us have 10 to 20 years left to live. And we'd like to see some of this. And look right behind you there, my favorite of all figures. Well, we've seen him lots of times. Firefly, this version 2005. Like, it's just made super well, and it's a great looking figure. And, you know, he's pretty much the same as the, whoa, there goes the dominoes. But the one right behind him. Anyways, I wanted to show you that. Now, one of those things I really love, one of my greatest of all time favorite ninjas, the Storm Shadow Ninja. Yes, he was Cobra, and then he went to G.I. Joe. Some people say he should have been left on the Cobra side, but nonetheless, we got repaints, and there is another one. He comes in a package, and he's got the, I think it's there's still another one out there that I need to get for the collection, but he came on later on. I think he's a Ninja Viper maybe, in green, or it could be Storm Shadow in green. Whoop. He does yellow a little too much. But why can't we get this Storm Shadow made in a different color or a different camouflage pattern again? Yes, we're looking at one right there that's red. But he's a Ninja Viper. So, oh, what year did that come out? Anyways, probably the 2000s when they're doing a lot of those packs. 2004 is when they did those packs. So, I don't think we have enough time for that. But, like, we got another one, the Ninja Force. Now, when they change construction of a figure, as well as the parts, that ruins what G.I. Joe is. That pissed off a lot of people, and I think that put me off collecting G.I. Joe back then. So I didn't buy as much just because of that one so-called innovation. That just ruined it. Because you need to be able to change out your O-rings for your figures to function properly. Now, oh, the comic packs, 2004. Yes, it is. It's a Trues exclusive. So there is a green Cobra. Again, exact same figure, just a different. He looks great. So they could have done Storm Shadow in that mold lots of different times, just like they've done Storm Shadow in the other mold lots of times. But it makes for a great figure. And like the beachhead that I have, I told you about, that I showed you. This beachhead right here, the Night Force beachhead. That's a great, you know, repaint. Like, Hasbro could be killing the 2-packs right now. Even giving us Night Force 2-packs. Like, come on, do something. Give us 6 Joes with Night Force. Like, I love this Shockwave. I would love to see him again in Night Force. I would love to see a Night Force stalker in the one you just made. You know, the one we got from the Transformer crossovers. I'd like to see a Night Force one of this guy. It'd be fantastic. And I'd like to see, oh, we're going to get some dominoes over here, maybe. We got lucky. You know what fell over? Yeah, Night Force Grunt. You know, give us some more of these 2-packs. Yes, there's been other repaints of this guy, but can you picture him in blue? All blue, maybe different blues, just like he's in purples. He was repainted for Star Brigade, not Steel Brigade. But you get what I'm saying. I love my repaints when they're done right. Like all the cool Vipers I got over there, those are all different repaints. And it just makes for fantastic figures. You know, when you love a certain figure, same with the Cobra soldiers and officers. You know, why can't we get, we're going to talk about them a little more, but all black, like the SAS Trooper. And Black Major Customs does have some out there. So if you're fishing for different cool looking figures to add to your collection that still look the same but might have a different slight variation in the paint job, then Black Major Customs might just be for all of us. Because I think I'm going to be getting some more Black Major Customs in the future for sure. Crimson Guards, oh yes, that's another thing I would like to talk about. They came out with the Crimson Guard with a removable helmet. Now it does look a little too big, but the head underneath is great. And these are 6-packs again, and maybe 2005. And the Shadow Guard, I think, was the other one. All in black. They look great. Even if you want to take off the helmet, because it looks a little too bulky. But like the underneath, you could make your own Fred. just take one of these heads and stick it on the Cobra Commander body. If you have to file down the plastic to get the head to work, great. But that's another problem. Like, why did Hasbro screw up the construction of the figures and not try to make things more compatible to make it easier on the manufacturing side and the engineering side? You know? Like, anyways, but just to give you a, you know, I love my Vipers. 2-packs, we could do these all day. They would sell out all day. You know, you give us different Vipers, 2-packs, whatever, 6-packs, 3-packs, they would sell continuously. 1-pack, and like they call them troopers. So the mold's probably out there. Hasbro just probably lost the mold. You know, you get blue, gray, red, all different colors, green. You got tons of different colors of Vipers, and that's what we love. We love our troops, we love our troop building, but we also love our certain favorite characters. Even Sergeant Slaughter, yes, Sergeant Slaughter has quite a few different Slaughters. You got Sergeant Slaughter's Marauder, Sergeant Slaughter, Mail-in Slaughter. I got Custom Slaughters, and you got the Warthog Slaughter. So there's quite a few Slaughters because it's a great figure. Now, some figures were made entirely different later on, but some figures, you know, they keep the same. Some people just love the Dukes. So, Dukes up. Duke, this, you know, even the Super 7 Duke. This is not too bad, but I still love the vintage over the newer ones. And again, there's even repaints of, yes, Tripwire. You thought I wouldn't talk about Tripwire? We talk about Tripwire here. There's different Stars and Stripes Tripwire. There's fun, the orange Tripwire. Well, there's all sorts. But what I'm getting at is I want more of our vintage figures, and hopefully Hasbro can still bring them back, because Super 7 doesn't quite make them as good yet. And believe me, they're not made as good, Super 7. Why can't you make them similar to the vintage? Make them, you know, I like about 50% of these that are from Super 7, but, you know, why can't you, what's so hard? Even Black Major Customs, you could probably ask them if you can borrow a mold to make some cool figures just like the vintage. That would save you tons of money if you did it like that. You know, Hasbro, Black Major, you know, Super 7, all you guys get together, make figures cheaper and affordable for everyone. Or you make them just affordable for you. Anyways, thanks so we can get them all. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. Hi.